Greetings, friends and fellow rebels. Welcome to the woods. Today, in this moment in time that I'm speaking to you, I'm coming off of a very intense experience of solar storm. And by that I mean last week the sun was throwing off a lot of radiation. Now, when this happens, and it's meant to happen, it's a good thing. Those of us who have a history of storing toxins and not processing them quickly enough to be able to shed them, we have some problems because that radiation comes in to transform us, to change us, to make us more, and it gets hung up on the heavy metals and the uh, chemical toxins and other things that we have stored, that we've held on to, because burning through it makes someone fiery, which is to say temperamental, which is to say difficult sometimes on the people around them. Some people can do that gracefully. Some people enjoy the chaos that they cause by burning and burning and burning. And some of us would rather have a harmonious environment, so we just hang on to it and slowly eradicate it over time, which means a lot of discomfort when that energy can't flow freely through us, especially with heavy metals. Heavy metals have a way of really either impeding, depends on the metal, but in the case of what I was exposed to, has a tendency of sticking, where the energy just can't flow through uh, very well. So problems. But we're out of the storms for a little while. We were able to see really beautiful uh, lights in the sky, even though we're quite far south of the North Pole. Something up until this point in our recorded history didn't happen, but the aura of the planet is sparkling. It's innervated. It's coming online. It's getting ready for the big push forward. So, some of us fatigued, brain fogged, joints ache, sleeping all the time when we don't want to sleep, awake all the time when we're trying to sleep. It's been very disruptive. And I have this interesting issue of remembering. Suddenly, not only can I remember things that have just happened, but my memory is going all the way back into my childhood. I can remember names and dates and experiences that I haven't been able to recall for a long time. So we're changing. We're changing. We're getting expanded more, but at a short-term cost of discomfort and confusion. As well as excellent as my memory is functioning, I'm having problems putting words together, having problems finding the words I need for things. From minute to minute, it changes. Even though words are something that, generally speaking, I'm pretty good at. Not while this is going on, not while our transformation is taking effect. And I think that has a lot to do with the shifting temporal energies. Language is very linear, the way that we experience it right now. It's linear. And putting those paths together, finding the right word for this moment in time, gets a little bit confusing when you're jumping around so much in reality space. It'll settle down. So if you're feeling any of this, if you're seeing this in the November time of 2025 and you're experiencing any of this, don't feel bad. We're all going through it. And while I'm on the subject of developing spiritual abilities, because that's what these geostorms are going to do, and not just for humans, I want to share a thought about spiritual gifts testing, because I belong to several groups that are developing spiritual gifts, spiritual abilities, spiritual perceptions. And there's there seems to be a tendency to want to know if different people, where they're at with that. And I think that the people who are arranging for these tests are thinking that they're a good idea, and that they're a good idea to be giving us these tests without letting us know that that's what they're doing. I think that they don't understand that being someone who has differing perceptions in a world that's not tolerant of that for decades and decades and decades and decades, like many of us have been, where we've been gaslit constantly, and where we have been targeted for having those perceptions especially by people who live for the lie. The people who cheat, who lie, who know how to get around things. This isn't just our leadership. This is inculcated into our kids, all of them. And the ones who learn how to get around the system, those are the ones that excel. Our system rewards that. And they like to target people who can finger them in what they're doing. So when you're young, you learn not to do that, not to point out the irregularities in our consensual reality or in someone's perception of the truth. When you're presented with a puppy and everyone's saying that it's a rooster, you learn not to, but it's a puppy. It's a puppy. You learn not to do that. You learn not to do that. Because you're going to wind up on psych meds or in a psych ward, or you're going to wind up ostracized or demonized, depending on the circle of people around you. Most families teach, most wise families who have a lineage of abilities, they'll teach their young ones to hide it, keep it to themselves, keep it just to a few confidants who also have abilities, who they can trust and share with. So bringing a puppy into the group and saying, here's my rooster, what do you think of him? To test and see whether or not we can tell it's a puppy, it's not going to get the response that they're hoping for. It's not going to encourage or show those who have the ability to discern that they can discern. We're going to very politely pet your rooster, tell you it's a beautiful rooster. Now, if you ask us, does this look like a rooster to you? We might tell you what we see. But if you tell us it's a rooster, we're gonna let you keep that reality, because we've learned the hard way what happens when we don't. And so these highfalutin tests that they want to give us, let's see if they can see through this. Ha 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 ha. Gaslighting us. It's not going to work. It's not going to work the way you want it to work, the way they want it to work. Hopefully you're not experiencing that, but I suspect that there's going to be a lot of desire to suss out who in the population is coming along with their abilities. So we may see some of this, or a lot of this. And perhaps humans will grow up to the point where we can stop the trickery and stop the gaslighting and just be real with each other. One can hope. And welcome to the woods.